And good afternoon and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View for your afternoon update. This man is back with Celtic. He's looking a bit thin, I've got to say, but Jota is up walking about and taking it easy as he popped into the Benfica training camp to see Celtic on day one of the training camp in Portugal. You got to remember it was back when we beat Dundee United 5-0 that he picked up that bad injury and said at the time, you know, it is a bad one. Brendan Rodgers said at the time it's not good news for us or him. He said it didn't look bad, but when he had the scan on his knee, he'll probably be out for between 6 to 9 months. I still think that he'll be back before the end of the next transfer window in January. I just got a funny feeling about it. He's done his cruciate ligament and a bit of damage there. He's been quite upbeat about it, and he says he's had a challenging couple of years after he moved from Celtic to Saudi. This will give him a chance to come back even stronger. He will definitely need to go in and sort himself out over the next few months, because you've just got to keep that mentality going, haven't you? And the fact that he is away from football and Celtic, just recuperating after his injury, signing that 5-year deal, I'm sure makes it all the worthwhile after being at Rennes just 18 months after Celtic banked a cracking amount of money for the player. Anyway, in other Celtic news, it wasn't only that happened today, but yes, the main men are back in training, and a lot of the first team players are back in training. We looked at Kasper Schmeichel back in training with the rest of the first team players, and is back to business as normal. It was the majority of the first team staff and players that travelled over to Portugal, as I reckoned. I didn't think that Brendan Rodgers would take too many of the B team players. I think he's seen enough from them to realise that there's not many of them going to make the step up. Maybe Dane Murray, but the way that Celtic are going, it looks like that Dane Murray is still going to be in the B team this year with fleeting appearances. I've not managed to see him in any of the pictures coming out of Portugal today from Celtic. Next up was Rio Hatate. He was all smiles for the cameras in Portugal today. Good to see him back and focused. Let's hope that we get the Rio Hatate that we all like to see and love in the first half of the season. Let's hope that he doesn't come out. He hasn't come out this season, and obviously, like he has the past two seasons, said that he would like to play at a higher level. I just hope that we manage to keep a hold of him. It is still a worry that there's a long way to go in the transfer window, and that Rio Hatate and Dyson Maeda could potentially be two players that clubs are interested in. But with the fact that we've made one big financial gain this summer from Nico Kuhn, Celtic are never in the frame of mind for selling two assets, big assets, in the one summer. So hopefully the Nico Kuhn one is the paperweight for the board, for Brendan Rodgers. Say, right, you've got your money, you've got your big one, you're not getting any more, we're not selling any more of the first team players. We need this team to stick together, and we need some recruitments in to make us better in a European context. Upside him was his compadre from Japan, Dyson Maeda, looking all smiles. I tell you, they're looking as if it's a bit cold in Portugal. I know there was a bit of cloud, but it's still 30 degrees. It can't be that cold. I miss the days where it's good to see a certain player with just a t-shirt on. Anyway, Dyson Maeda, big, massive summer for him. Does he sign a new contract or does he not? With only 2 years left remaining on his contract, well, Celtic really need to get him on a bigger contract, an extended one, to just keep a hold of the fantastic player that he is. Next up is Adam Ida. On the training pitch, looks like he'll get some game time again after being saved from the mentalness that was Ireland, and he'll be glad that he wasn't on the pitch when they had the pitch invasion. In the background you've got Benji and doing his hair, just typical European, isn't it? Just making sure he looks nice, and then behind him it looks like that's Yang behind him also, and a player that I think that Yang's a player that I'm still to be convinced by. I mean, a 3-week period during last season isn't enough to make me think that he's going to keep out Jota when he comes back, and definitely not going to keep out Tyson Maeda. Now, with the fact that it is only Yang and Benji that are the other wingers at the club, well, it'll be interesting to see if Celtic do manage to get someone in this week. So that is it. The players are in Portugal. There's not a lot of Celtic news kicking around when it comes to the transfer market. Obviously, the one we spoke about this morning was Shin Yamada on his way to Celtic after he plays the next game. Talking about the younger players, I mean, players like Colby Donovan, and although they were there playing in Dublin, it's players like that that you want to see sort of getting it. It'll be interesting when Celtic do put out more pictures, just to see how many of the B team staff have made that trip. Because if they haven't made the trip, it means that Brendan Rodgers does not believe that they're going to make an impact in the first team. And it'll be as much as it's disappointing for those guys. They know that they'll have to go away and work harder and do all the good stuff that football players do. But there is one player that has made the trip over, and that's obviously the young Callum Osmond, who took to Twitter after his first game with Celtic, first minutes in the green and white. And some of the comments from Celtic fans are quite hilarious. The sky's the limit, Callum. Great to see the best, all the best for the season, Callum. Just don't F off to some shite English championship for more money. These guys make more money initially but never play. And no one hears of them again. Full of enthusiasm for the young lads. You could have nicked a couple of goals today, son, but what good workout. All the best for the season, Callum. Can't wait to experience paradise on match day. Will he get to experience it? Of course he will, but will he get on the pitch on match day? Oh, that's still to be seen. You'll be fine once you settle in. Start winning tonight. That was obviously the game in Ireland that he didn't take part in. But anyway, tell me what you think about the players back on the pitch. It's going to be interesting to see what team Brendan Rodgers does put out. The cameras will be there following the victory over Cork City and the Cork Super Cup. We've won the Cork Super Cup. Fly the flag. Brendan Rodgers now he has taken his side to Portugal, and let's face it, Luke McCowan, Colby Donovan scored in the last game. Who will score in the game this weekend? It'll be a bit of a tougher test at the Benfica Academy, and some of the boys are going home, aren't they? Obviously Jota came through the Benfica Academy, popped in to see Celtic today. Paulo Bernardo, yes, it's a place that he will know well, and he might be actually thinking, what is the chances of me getting some serious game time this season, and what did I actually come to Celtic for? When he knew that Matt O'Reilly had left the club and he come back to Celtic, he must have been thinking, yep, I've got myself a midfield position and Celtic want me. But it never kind of worked out that last season, did it? Anyway, the match behind closed door in the Benfica Academy will be on Celtic TV. There'll be a chance to see Kieran Tierney, Benji, and a few other of the mainstream first team players as Brendan Rodgers puts the first team through their paces. It's now time for Brendan Rodgers to start earning his cash, because, let's face it, the men upstairs have banked a lot of cash, but they've not supplied Brendan Rodgers with what he really needs right now in terms of reinforcements. There is the one there, Benji. That's the only one that we've spent money on this summer. Will we spend more in the next couple of weeks? Yes, we're bringing in a striker that's going to cost us 1.5 million. Maybe we're saving money for one big signing. And then there will be the question, as the next couple of weeks roll on, as we do get closer to the first game of the season, the questions will turn to Brendan Rodgers. And it won't be just about bringing players in before the end of the transfer window. It will be about Brendan Rodgers' long-term long-term future. He said his exact words towards the end of last season, "I'm sure it's something we will talk about over the summer." Well, you've been away on your summer holidays, Brendan, and there's been no speculation about you signing a new contract. There's been no indication that there's been talks. I think that he will sign a new contract, but until it's done, you can never say never that this could ultimately be the last season of Brendan Rodgers at Celtic. And you may say, yes, he's took the club as far as he can. The club aren't going to spend the money that he maybe thinks that we need to be spending. The academy's a mess. He took us further than we've been in a long time in Europe. We amassed a decent amount of points. Maybe that's the pinnacle. Or is it the fact that he just wants to stay and be here for that last season of James Forrest and to win the treble and go into the high? Who knows? Tell me your thoughts in the comments section. On that note, have an absolutely fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are. I'll see you tonight at 8 PM in Celtic Part Time.